And some of you are saying, Brenda who? She's not illustrious. I never heard of her before. And I want to welcome you first-time attendees to the conference. This is my privilege to speak and to offer some inspiration because there can be information overwhelm at an event like this, can't there? You know, it's like you're all excited to come. How many of you have been planning for months to be here? And it's like, yay, it's finally here, right? And then you just want a nap. You know, you just want to elevate your feet somewhere because it's too much. I do have a unique privilege right now of saying something really fun. Live from Atlanta. It's Saturday night. It's Saturday night. And we're going to have a lot of fun tonight, too. I just had some thoughts I wanted to share because having attended this conference for several years running, there's some things I've observed. And at the end, oftentimes, you can have a letdown. Sort of like, you know, when the sugar rush dies off and you're just ready for a crash. I want to help you offset the crash that can sometimes come at the end of not just an information overload conference in all the best possible ways, but emotionally, it can be overwhelming as well. For some of you, this is the first time you've been in the same room with people that look like you, with people that aren't judging you, with people that accept you and get you and are rooting for you and cheering you on. That is glorious. And it's also draining in a way because you have these myriad of emotions that happen. So I was just minding my own business at the gym one day in the middle of Zumba class, and I got an outline for an inspirational keynote, and I sent it to Cheyenne, and she gave me the green light. So here you go. How many of you would like a little more joy in your life? Yes, of course you would. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a weak response, but you know, by the end of this, you're going to be all about the joy, right? And you anticipate the conference looking for joy and thinking about the connections you're going to make, maybe even meeting people that are going to bring you new ideas and ways to manage your condition, maybe making new friends. So joy is this feeling of great pleasure and happiness. And how many of you also know that that is not a state that we can be in all the time? It's just, it's not sustainable, right? And here I am with this really awesome outline about joy, and knocking on my door came sorrow. Not everybody in this room knows one of my dearest friends, but you've heard her name several times over the course of this conference, and her name is Patty Cornute. And for those of you watching virtually, those of you in the room, those of you that didn't know her, she was a force to be reckoned with. She changed the landscape of lipedema. She was a fierce warrior and an inspiration. People, thousands and thousands of people around the world looked to Patty Cornute and they said, man, if she can do it, I can do it too. And I don't want to upset anyone, but there are places in this presentation where I honor her because even before I learned of her sudden and untimely passing that we are all, so many of us, heartbroken over, I had woven Patty into my presentation. Because when I thought about joy, I thought about someone who wasn't given, you know, none of us get to choose what we're given in life, but we do get to choose how we respond to it. And Patty Cornute responded with joy and love that affected so many of us. If you were affected by Patty Cornute, can you just clap your hands right now? Yeah. So what you're about to see is a photo of her if you did not know her. And she was beautiful inside and out. She shone, rocking her bright red lipstick and her glittery glasses. Cheyenne was rocking glitter tonight in honor of Patty. I wore something a little frilly here because She was into fashion, she was into music, she was into art, and she invested any spare moment she had into the lipedema community, starting the lipedema triathlon, changing lives. She was the original panelist on the lipedema patient roundtable. And for those of you who don't know, this is an online event that happens every month, the third Wednesday of every month, and we don't care what devices you use or what medications you're on, or everybody's different. You're all welcome to the round table to support each other. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if it wasn't for Patty Cornute, because she was the first person I ever interviewed about lipedema. And she didn't just give me information, she changed my life and helped me see and really have empathy for a community that was so often overlooked and judged. I fell in love with Patty, and then I fell in love with all of you over the years. And I consider it a privilege to share the stories and to be a part of this community, because you are some of the finest, most resilient, amazing people I've ever met in my life. So here we are, this message about joy, and you're wondering, Brenda, why are you holding your phone? And I will tell you why. Because I took notes today, and I was a little overwhelmed. Okay, here's just some things that some of you are dealing with. Hormones, histamines, compression garments, short skirt syndrome. Do you remember hearing that today? That cracked me up. Fiber, leaky gut, metabolism. Oh, but wait, the proper way to poop and pee. And of course, my favorite, I have to put the phone down for this one, the horny shot. And I'm like, wow, you really get a lot when you come to FDRS. You never know, and it's all, and you think to yourself, wow, how can I incorporate all of this into my life? So I want to break up some of the sorrow with a little bit of laughter. And isn't that the interesting juxtaposition of life? There can be sorrow and joy existing at the same time. There can be sadness and laughter. You know, this thing about grief, it brings us into the present moment. It peels away illusions. It forces us to see what really matters. It strips away what's trivial and leaves what's pure. It's actually a gift, because loss recalibrates our perspective, and it extends to us an invitation to be more authentic, more present, and more loving. And I would say that that is the embodiment of Patty Cornute. Authentic, present, and loving. And so while many of us are grieving, and I'm marveling even right now that I'm not bursting into tears, but I did a lot of that over the last 7 days, and I have Lori Heinzen back there doing happy dances to make sure I don't cry. Thank you, Lori, I appreciate you. When something happens and it sort of shocks us out of the hamster wheel of life, and it's an opportunity to respond. We don't get to choose what we get in life, but we do get to choose how we respond to it. So everybody in this room, nobody's gotten a pass from sorrow and pain and loss and challenges and disappointments. I mean, is there anybody in this room that's never faced any of that? Not one of us. But those dark times amplify the light, because behind every cloud there really is still always that sun. And I'm not trying to do some toxic positivity thing here at all, because the fact of the matter is, I just want to authentically share life is real, and I want to be real about it. But I've learned that joy is always possible and present if you look for it. Because we have a choice to turn our faces to the light when it breaks through. Like when I see my nephew Santino. Oh, come on, you have to do a collective awe. Aw, Santino, this is him in his Valentine's outfit. And I was sobbing my eyes out on Sunday thinking about my dear friend and how much I miss her. And then my sister texted me the latest photo of Santino. By the way, his name is Santino DeBacco. He sounds like he's going to make you an offer you can't refuse someday, right? Yeah, he's a good Irish boy, Santino DeBacco. And here's the thing. In that moment, all of a sudden, I was distracted from my sorrow, and there was joy. And it's just where we direct our attention. That is not to say that we should ignore the sadness. No, you should feel it. Let it have its way. Breathe it in and cry it out and feel all the feelings. But then when joy comes, find it. How many of you found at least a little bit of joy already while you're here at FDRS? Yeah, there was joy to be found. So I was thinking to myself, what is the seed that grows joy? And the word that came to my mind, maybe you can guess it. It's a seed that grows joy. And some of you came here looking for this very thing, and it's hope. Every time Lipedema Foundation comes out with new research, or every time there's new medications or new therapies and modalities, every time I see someone whose life has changed, there are so many people in this room tonight, and you don't even look the same as you did last year. And it's not just about the outside, because Lord knows we know it's not just about the outside. In fact, we're tired of being judged on the outside. But there's stuff happening on the inside that is making you shine. My friend Lori Heinzen is walking around with this spark in her step and this smile on her face. And Casey Grosvenor is doing and living her purpose. It was just her dream to work for Lipedema Foundation. And it was her hope so, and now it's her know so. She's doing it and living her purpose, and she's shining, and we all benefit. It gives us hope. Let's hear it for Casey. You know, there is a scripture that says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. But when the answer comes, it's a tree of life. And I want to remind all of you that you're all hoping for something. You're hoping for something. And sometimes when you're waiting for that thing, your heart gets sick. But there's a day when the answer comes. And it's a tree of life. And I am wishing for all of you that you water and fertilize the seed of hope. Hope is the ability to see that there is light despite all the darkness. And there's a lot of dark stuff that's happening in our world constantly on a worldwide level and then at the Thanksgiving dinner table because your mother-in-law's there. And that can be really challenging. This joy and pain, sunshine, rain. It reminds me of my company logo. My company is called Vici Communications. Can I even say it? Vici Communications is the name of my company, and Vici means I conquered. And everybody in this room has conquered something, haven't you? You should feel good about all the things. You know all the things that have happened in your life and you thought, stick a fork in me, I'm done? And you're here. That's awesome. You weren't done. There's still more for you to do. And so the butterfly is the logo, not because it's pretty, although I do like pretty stuff. The butterfly goes through a dark time in that chrysalis. The caterpillar goes in as one thing, and it actually liquefies. It disintegrates. Maybe some of you in your life have felt about a hard time in your life. I'm done. I feel like I'm not even me anymore. I'm disintegrating. And it's in there, and then it's becoming something completely different. So I had a friend who had a butterfly farm. I didn't even know there was such a thing, but she had a butterfly farm. And she noticed that when she was starting out, that this butterfly was trying to get out of the chrysalis. Have you ever seen a butterfly trying to get out of a chrysalis? It is not pretty. It's not like, ah, ah. No, it is a violent twisting. It is, get me out of here. And we have all felt like that at certain times in our life. So meaning well, she thought, let me try to help the butterfly get out. And she started picking away at the chrysalis, and the butterfly got out, but it couldn't fly because it's impressing against that dark place, pressing and pressing and pressing, that creates the strength in your wings so you can fly. Some of you are tired of pressing, but I want to encourage you to keep pressing. Patty Cornute, she kept pressing. She never gave up. Every time she hit a roadblock, she'd learn something new. She'd try something new. She'd say something, and it affected all of us. Keep pressing on in that dark place. You are creating strength in your wings so that you can fly. And so that is to lay the groundwork for, Brenda, can we get to the joy part? Okay, I hear you. The 4 keys to joy in your journey are anchored in hope. And what are you going to do with this seed of hope? And for me, it came down to an outline, 4 points, HOPE. And the first one is to honor your inner being. You can't have joy when you betray yourself. Your inner being is that still small voice on the inside that's saying, this is the right thing to do. It may be counter to what everybody else is telling you, even what your medical professionals are telling you, and I have great honor and respect for the medical professionals, but only you know you. The worst mistakes I've ever made in my life are when I have suppressed that inner voice, and I poo-pooed it, and I ended up in places and with people I had no business being in. And so, with this overwhelm of everything from how to poop and pee to metabolism to the list goes on. I mean, many of you tonight are feeling like, what? My head is spinning. I want to encourage you to honor your inner being. Because what might work for Lori may not work for Kara. Maybe what works for Levi doesn't work for Lori. Whatever. We're not all cookie cutters. People have different modalities and different ways of dealing with their illness, and you need to do what's right for you, and you need to honor your inner being. That's what your emotions are telling you, and also what your body is telling you. The one way I've learned to know if I'm obeying and honoring my inner being, it's really simple for me. I'm either operating from a place of peace or pressure. And when you are in peace, you're not frantic, you're not forcing, you're not desperate. And I've learned if you don't have peace, don't do anything. If you feel pressure, oftentimes we make our worst mistakes there. So when your inner being, which I believe your inner being is love, when you're in alignment with that and honoring your inner being, and it's okay to have boundaries and say, no, that just doesn't work for me. I respect your decision, but I need to honor my inner voice. Some of you have betrayed yourself because you're trying to please everyone, and I have learned it took me 61 years to figure this out. Can someone please have a gasp of breath that, I'm not, she's 61? No. I'm kidding. You were thinking it. Good. I'm glad you yelled it out. It took me a long time to realize I was living my life for everybody else, doing what they wanted me to do or what they expected me to do. And when I finally started honoring my inner being, I started being authentic, because what you see is what you get. I'm the same person at the booth that I am up here as I am at home. That's it, because it's exhausting to pretend. And Patty Cornu honored her inner being. And I want to prepare those of you at home watching as well. You're about to see a video clip of Patty herself talking. Because I marveled at this woman who was afraid of being wheelchair bound. And she just wanted to get better. She said, we'll do anything for it not to get worse. I just wanted to get better. And the doctors told her that exercise would make her condition worse. And something on the inside said, no, that doesn't sit right with me. And the fact that she honored her inner being created a whole movement, thousands of people around the world taking part in lipedema fitness triathlons. First, all she wanted to do was be able to walk to the mailbox. And if you see videos and her legacy will live on forever. She's throwing down kettlebells. She is a force. And this, I interviewed her for my podcast, The Alchemy of Pain, and this is what she had to say about honoring your inner being.
There was an inner voice inside of you that said, I know the doctor is saying this, but I feel like I must move my body. And in that obedience, it broke something open. And not only did you find your resilience, but you're inspiring so many other people. Do you think that that's a valid premise, that there's something to not betraying that inner voice?
100%. I think the biggest, most important relationship you can have is with yourself. And you have to get to a point where you can listen to yourself and you can tune into it. You know, we can be upset that we have lipedema, but we can't be upset at our bodies, because no matter what you're trying to do, if you're upset at your body and you're directing that energy at your body, nothing you try to combat it is going to get you there. It's just going to be like a Band-Aid. What you need to do is really give yourself some grace, whether it's physical or emotional. The thing that always surprises me is when somebody goes through grief and they feel like they have to follow a pattern of how to get through it. And I'm like, oh my God, like the most emotional place you could possibly be in your life. And we're worried about if we're doing it right. Instead of honoring what's coming up. Like, for me, pain is our bodies telling us something's wrong. And if we listen, if we try to tune in, we're going to get information.
If you tune in, you're going to get information. I don't know how we're going to live without this woman, and yet we will, because her words are going to live on. She embodied wisdom, and she was so right. Isn't it interesting? Don't you find it interesting that she actually talks about grief in this clip, almost like she was preparing us, because here we are all wondering, how do we honor her? How do we do what's right? How do we show how much we love her? And she's like, don't worry, give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Some of you are really hard on yourselves. Give yourself grace. That's also honoring your inner being too. Being kind to yourself, loving yourself. Thank you for those words, Patty. And the other one is your body. If your body is saying something, don't ignore it. When you deal with illnesses and conditions like lipedema and Dürkheim's and Madeline's lungs, and you're dealing with pain all day, every day, sometimes you just push it aside and think, oh, I don't need to go to the doctor for this, or you're afraid of being ghosted again. And I say, listen to your body and fight for you. Honor your inner being and your outer being. Honor you. You are the only you have. There is one person you are guaranteed to spend the rest of your life with, and it's you. So let's take a cue from what Patty is telling us and from this first key of hope, which is honor your inner being. Honor it. The second is to open. The O is for open. Open your heart, open your mind to new ideas. You know, if your first response to anything is, nope, 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 tried that, nope, that doesn't work, nope, nope, no, I'm sorry, I don't believe that, nope, nope, nope. Why don't you just try a yes? And I get it. We don't want to try again because we've been hurt before in the past. And I'm not just talking about managing your condition. I'm talking about in life in general. We've been hurt, and so we're like, I don't know. I'm looking at everything side-eye. Cara Cruz, had you ever been hurt in romance before? Like a few times. I know her. She's on our lipedema patient roundtable, and it seemed like at every after-show party, she'd be like, yep, another jerk. Yep. Boom. I'll tell you what, there's no good ones out there. And you know, you can get to a place in love and in life where you're like, that's it, I'm done. Not gonna try anymore. Now look at her, she's wearing a bridal veil over there, and she's getting married. And she gave love a chance again. She gave love a chance again. And Levi, we thank you. And by the way, don't you dare hurt that girl, because I know it will never happen, because we love you and we trust you and we think you're amazing. But it's like, try something again. Try. Why not? Look, I have to tell you, personal disclosure, I wore like a badge of honor that I do not use pharmaceuticals. None whatsoever. I am medication free. And that was something I clung to as something to be really proud of. And then my health started to have some problems. And you know, my father died of a heart attack when I was 10 years old. So I have heart disease in my family. I had high cholesterol that was getting worse and worse and worse. And then I had sleep apnea. And my doctor says, I'd like you to try Zepbound, GLP-1. And for a couple months, I'm like, no. I don't do pharmaceuticals. Meanwhile, I was going to the gym 6 days a week, sometimes twice a day. I could not break a threshold. And listening to amazing researchers like Dr. Herbst and Dr. Amato and different medical professionals, how privileged am I that I get to listen to some of the great medical minds. And all of a sudden it was like, Brenda, maybe you need to turn your no into a maybe. Just maybe. And that was 6 months and 40 pounds ago. And that is a life changer. It's a life changer. And it's not about this, although yay, right? It's about the fact that it's helped to restore some of my health. And I want to be here so I can live my purpose. Opening your heart and mind to new ideas. Many of you have heard some new ideas. Now, don't forget point number 1, which is honor your inner being. Like, don't betray yourself, but open yourself to new ideas and don't vote with pressure. I used to work for QVC. I was a show hostess. I would sell gold chains in Capodimonte at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was a really fun job. That's where you know me from, yes. And so what would be interesting is they would say, and this is the last time you're gonna see this on the show. And don't you know, 2 weeks later, guess what was back on the show? That same gold chain. And they try to pressure you into, you must do it now, act now, or you'll regret it the rest of your life. And I will tell you, what is meant for you is not gonna miss you. Stay open. If you're not ready, don't do anything. But I'll tell you what, if you will just stay open, and if it's meant for you, it'll come back again. Casey, it was meant for you to be at Lipedema Foundation. It came back, and there you are. What are you waiting on? If it's meant for you, it's gonna find you. And that brings hope. Be open. So honor your inner being. Open your heart to new ideas and possibilities. Protect your energy. Protect it. And that's not just your physical energy. Many of you on the live stream, I want to honor you because you just knew you couldn't make the trip. And that is nothing to be ashamed of. I am so happy that you chose to preserve and protect your energy And you know what, next year, maybe it'll be a yes. But you honored yourself and you said, you know what, it's better for me to watch from home. Let's hear it for the people watching at home right now. You're awesome. And how about you? Okay, you had a really long day. Don't feel bad if you need to go and meet. Look, I want to dance with you. I want to be there on the floor. I want to shake my groove thing, okay? But if you need to go upstairs and elevate or pump or do what you need to do you. Preserve your energy, because when you are wiped out energetically, you got nothing to give. And that's when hope feels hopeless. Sometimes the world isn't that bad. You're just hungry or whatever. It's also your spiritual energy. You know, I often think about the fact that I worried a lot for a lot of years. Any worriers in the group? Are there any Italians? Because, you know, honestly, in our culture, a sign of love is to worry. I worry about you. That's why I was up all night. And I want to ask you, when in the history of worrying have you ever said, I am so glad I got no sleep last night because it really helped? Never. And you wasted your precious energy worrying about something that wasn't even real. So preserve your energy, and that means if there are certain triggers like social media, or if there are certain people, I don't sit next to Aunt Lorraine at Thanksgiving because she's mean, right? And I am the CEO of me. I am the gatekeeper of my well-being. You are the gatekeeper of your well-being. If you just walk out with that, your life's going to be a whole lot better. What you let in and what you let out. Patty Cornute loved everyone, but she also had boundaries. There were things that she said yes to and no to, and there were people she blocked because it wasn't good for her psyche. And I want you to protect your energy. This is about hope. Honor your inner being. Be open to new ideas and modalities and new opportunities in life. Be open to love again. Be open. I like that idea. That's so nice. We want more of those over there. We want another bridal table next year. And protect your energy. And the last one, and the most important one, friends, I want you to embrace love. When you feel hopeless, you need your love tank filled up. We all need our love tanks filled up. I have tackled half of this room with hugs because I need them. I work from home all by myself. I sit in front of a computer all day, every day. To be in a room filled with warm, kind, loving people. Embrace love when it comes along. And love is the opposite of fear. And this is the thing. I don't know what you're drinking at this table over there, but they're having a great old time. I don't know. Well, we'll have what they're having later, right? I know live stream you can't hear it, but the bridal table is like they're all in bachelorette mood over there because we're talking about embracing love, right? So they're having a blast with it. It's so important to take love when it comes along. And there's a whole lot in this room. Remember what Patty said, the most important relationship you'll ever have is with yourself. So I want this to be a call for you to love on yourselves a whole lot more and love each other a whole lot more. If you feel comfortable doing so, grab the hand of someone next to you or put the hand on your heart, you know, and just let some good energy in there. Let some good energy in there. And the love of acceptance. So I want to honor the caregivers that are here with their spouses. Thank you for taking care of people. You are awesome. Let's hear it for the caregivers. Let's hear it for the medical professionals that are giving us hope with all the work that they're doing. Thank you, medical professionals. Patients, thank you for fighting and pressing against that chrysalis. You are growing strength in your wings so you can fly. Clap for yourselves, you wonderful people. You're amazing. And most of all, and I will say this is what Patty would say, we are here. We are breathing. We are alive. It is a precious privilege that we have to be in the moment. Honor your inner being. Open your heart to new ideas and people. Preserve your energy. And wherever possible, my friends, embrace love. And you will fertilize the seeds of joy in your life. And that's my wish for you. Thank you so much.